Thank you and good morning. First of all, I've read the documents about the speakers in the different breakout groups. I think it's a really, really interesting series of contributions. And I've already said to Stuart, I'd like a synopsis at the end of it of the practical ideas that emerge from the energy and the creative comments of so many people. Thank you for the invitation, Stuart. I really appreciate it. We had a great engagement in the United States, in Washington with the President, the Vice President, Speaker Boehner, on the Hill, representatives. Obviously, the undocumented situation is an issue for Ireland here. We want our people who happen to be in America to be able to legitimately contribute to the economy and society and have the freedom to travel over and back if that's what they wish to do. And I do hope that before the elections this autumn, that it might be possible to make real progress on this pressing matter. So, as I say, one of the issues that we did discuss was the TTIP. I think it's actually more important now than ever, given the situation in Ukraine, given the situation where you can set down trade conditions for the next 50 years, the two greatest trading blocs on the planet. And I hope that the urgency that was expressed during our own presidency of the European Union last year can be followed through now in a realistic way. I understand the President and from Commission level here, there are serious negotiations going on about that. I did invite Vice President Biden in the Oval Office to actually get authorization from the President of the United States to travel to his long-lost home country and put the sticks in the back of the plane when he's coming over. Anyway, I'd like to say a few general remarks, if I may, about our country here, and I welcome you all. You probably know most of the stats insofar as we're concerned here. After 3 years of really difficult situations for our people, but with a clear plan and a clear strategy, we emerged from the EU-IMF bailout last December. We've re-entered the bond markets at historically low levels. Our private sector is now creating over 1,000 jobs a week. Unemployment has continuously dropped for the last 21 months. It's now down below the Eurozone average, down to 11.8%, which is significant, but obviously still too high. So maintaining sort of friendships and connections is so important for us. The US is Ireland's largest export markets for goods, while Ireland is now the 13th largest supplier to the US. It's been a big change over those years where it's no longer just one-way traffic. We have a contribution to make to the United States as well. And obviously, the US is Ireland's largest trading partner in services. And of course, the US is Ireland's largest source of inward investment, with 585 US corporations directly employing here 118,000 people and so many more in indirect employment following that. One striking statistic always comes to me. US firms have invested more capital in Ireland since 1990, almost 190 billion US dollars than in the 4 BRIC countries combined. That makes the demonstration of the long and enduring friendship and association that we have with the United States. So trade connections are not just limited to goods and services. Consider the fact that last year Ireland welcomed a record number of more than 1 million visitors from North America, from the US, and obviously that economic relationship works both ways. There are 750 Irish companies exporting into the US, an estimated 220 Irish companies with operations in the States employing more than 82,000 people right across America. So just as we had a clear plan and strategy to exit the bailout, so too have we got a clear plan for the development of our economy for the future. And that's one based on enterprise and not based on speculation. The medium-term plan was published. We want to get our deficit below 3% by 2015, plans to eliminate it altogether by 2018, and to get to a point by 2020 where we can replace all of the jobs that were lost during the catastrophic economic situation. Do that by 3 pillars. Firstly, responsible management of the public finances. That's essential for continued investment and for stability, so important for investing in here. With 90% of the budgetary correction already made, we will eliminate the deficit by 2018. Secondly, continued banking reform. While the sector has been stabilised and changed, much more needs to be done. Banks have to support economic activity and economic recovery in the real economy. Thirdly, creating jobs. We've got to get our country working. That's what they're talking about. What's the opportunity for me? Can I get a job? Can I get a career here? Have I got the opportunity to live and work in this country if that's what I wish to do? So we published our action plan for jobs so that people can say, well, what's next up ahead? We've set out that path. Forbes named Ireland as the best country in the world for business, with competitiveness improving dramatically since 2011. We have to remain very vigilant about these things. During the week, our own National Competitiveness Council published a report that highlighted a growing number of risks to our cost competitiveness if left unchecked that would hinder our recovery. So let me assure investors here in Ireland that the government takes that kind of advice very seriously indeed. I've publicly recognised the damage done to Ireland's competitiveness from the increases in income tax rates imposed in previous years, and we've signalled that raising the point at which middle income earners enter the top band will be a priority for the government as resources allow and as the economy develops. Another area of concern that was highlighted by the Competitiveness Council was the high cost of credit of businesses relative to the Eurozone average. This is a matter of considerable importance for us. The programme for government commits to the establishment of a strategic investment bank to support credit availability for business investment, for infrastructure and for employment. Now, when I was over in Paris last October, November, at a meeting there about youth unemployment, I spoke to Chancellor Merkel, and following that we put in place a structure and discussions about using the facilities of the German state bank KfW to allow Irish banks to lend to SMEs. So I just want to say to you that we'll see the Minister for Finance bring draft legislation on this before government in the next number of weeks. And I think that will result in a significant reduction in interest rates on new bank loans totalling hundreds of millions to thousands of Irish businesses. I think it will be a very welcome development indeed. So the availability of skills clearly is an area that needs careful attention that will have a serious impact on economic recovery. A key part of our plan is focusing on the high-tech, high-skilled sectors of our economy where we see potential for real high-job value creation. We also see the value of these sectors in generating innovative solutions to many of the social, economic and environmental challenges that we face. So we've got these strategic clusters: life sciences, ICT, engineering, services, digital media and consumer brands. These clusters include a really strong mix of leading global companies, international startups and Irish SMEs and homegrown innovative startup companies. So a key government priority is to ensure that we have the right people with the right skills to attract and to retain and to grow job opportunities and investment in these sectors. That's why I think the educational people here, we're in a position to be sufficiently flexible to cater for the next wave as it emerges. The trick is to identify what that wave is and where they're coming from. And I think the experience and the sort of projections of those involved in the ICT sector are very important. It's estimated, for example, that the Irish economy can produce and add another 44,000 high-level ICT job opportunities between 2012 to 2018. And that growth will contribute directly to Ireland's economic recovery. But to achieve that level of growth, Ireland's labour force needs a solid base of ICT skills. Can't do it without that. So while we're renowned as having one of the most adaptable and flexible workforces in the world, we need to ensure that we can maintain this dynamic capability. So we need workers to adapt to changing demands like data analytics, cloud computing, mobile services, social media technologies, IT security and so on. And to build that, we need an education and training system that can support skills formation and skills conversion. I was down in Intel last week, Intel Ireland, obviously a massive investment there in the last 3 years of over 5 billion. But the challenge given by the company just a couple of years ago to a group of Irish engineers was to design the first chip designed here in Ireland in Intel. And they did that with the what they call the Quark chip on the Galileo board, says he, as if he understands all about it. That's, I think, going to be an important part of the Internet of Things which is coming, and all that means for the lives of hundreds of millions of people around the world. So the education and training system is undergoing an unprecedented level of structural reform at all levels, and it's got to do that. At the primary level, the curricula are being reshaped to reflect the priorities of literacy and numeracy strategy. At second level, the framework for the junior cycle provides for a root and branch reform in the structure of the curriculum, with a focus on innovative and entrepreneurial skills. And in addition, a super fast broadband will be rolled out to all second level schools by the end of the year. In fact, this is an issue of concern to government, and we hope that Minister for Communications will bring his projections shortly now to government for dealing with broadband throughout the country, significant areas of which have an inferior level of service at the moment. So we are undertaking a major reorganisation of the higher education system, putting in place a new framework for system governance. And in further education, the new agency which we call SOLAS, which is a Gaelic word for light, is working with the education and the training boards and with employers to ensure that further education and training programs are more flexible, are more responsive to the needs of job seekers and industry. This has not been the case in the past. We've had too many examples of courses that were followed by students at the end of which there wasn't the opportunity to get a job or a start on that ladder out of it. We need to change that and be able to cater for the wave that's undoubtedly coming at us. So we're also looking at the question of modernising the traineeship scheme to bring about a greater focus on work-based learning and on engagement with employers. Specifically in relation to ICT skills, we launched our first ICT action plan in 2012 in partnership with industry. The objective was to double the annual output from honours degree graduates by 2018. Level 8 ICT conversion programmes were a major feature of that 2012 action plan. I'm pleased to say that the target of doubling NFQ Level 8 ICT graduates will now be met 3 years ahead of schedule in 2015. I think that's significant progress. And following the success of the first plan, both Ministers Quinn and Ministers Bruton jointly launched a new ICT action plan last month. This plan has one single overriding ambition, that's to make Ireland, this country, a global leader in ICT skills availability. So the target is for Ireland to meet 3/4 of the demand for high-level ICT skills from the Irish. Why are you giving me water? Thanks. Thank you indeed. To meet those skills from the Irish education system, with the remainder coming from skilled inward migration. You can see that shelf. In 2012, less than 50% of demand from ICT was being met through the education system. That figure now stands at over 60%, and we aim to get to 74% by 2018. They're ambitious targets. The new plan was developed in close collaboration with industry, which is also central to its implementation. So we're very pleased to have the key industry representatives both on the steering group and on the delivery teams. Hope to meet the board of SOLAS very shortly to engage really with them in terms of their objectives. Companies obviously have a responsibility to upskill their own employees, and the plan provides opportunities for that to happen so that companies can become increasingly involved in collaborative initiatives. I want to just say another word on the other area where we're seeing increasing success. You know about this, the so-called STEM subjects of science, technology, engineering and mathematics. We're now beginning to see some very positive results as a consequence of changes made for a number of years. There has been a noticeable upward trend in students taking STEM subjects in the Leaving Certificate. For example, last year we saw record numbers of students taking higher level maths. Now that the bonus points are available for higher level mathematics, our young people, if you like, are doing that because they see the opportunity that comes from it. And this year, early indications from the State Examination Commission are that 31% of Leaving Certificate students, or more than 17,000, have indicated that they will sit the higher paper. You're also seeing increased take-up of STEM subjects at third level, where applications of engineering, of computing and science courses have increased for 5 consecutive years. So these increases are encouraging, and they reflect the government's targeted approach to ensuring that we have the right skills and the right people to enter employment in growth areas in the economy. But clearly there is so much more that can be done in subjects like biology, in physics and in chemistry, to name but a few. In November, the Minister for Research and Innovation launched the STEM Education Review Group. I anticipate that their report, which is due later this year, will give important new insights into how the Irish education system can measure up to international best practice in STEM education. So this audience here of entrepreneurs, of academics, of educators and of innovators really are a great mix. It was Einstein who said that imagination is the real force because it encircles the globe, the planet. And out of this interaction, Stuart, I look forward to seeing the synopsis of the views of so many people with those creative ideas. The job of government is to enable those ideas to become practical operations. And we've had so many examples in the last period where these things can happen. So some of you who are, concerned primarily with educational challenges, others have digital strategies, others with upskilling workforces, others with ensuring that your companies find and retain the right workers with the right skill set. It's a great mix. So I can say with confidence that the best solutions I see emerging from this country are ones that are clearly based on collaboration. How can we, pulling together, make the difference? And that's where industry, educators, researchers and government work creatively and collectively to identify new solutions. Now, when I was in the States down in Washington, Stuart, I said to people, well, look, you're all involved in the business. Here's my phone number if you want to call me. Christ, I'm getting phone calls from Adelaide and New Zealand and everywhere. Some of them are not what you might expect, not all about industry. But in any event, I just want to say to you that the government really is wide open here for business. And the practical analysis that comes from people with expertise in a collaborative sense, we'll build on that. I chair 8 or 9 cabinet subcommittees myself, and they're a real opportunity to get things done very quickly. So where we see practical movement, good ideas coming from operations like this, we're very happy to work with you. So Stuart, thank you for the invitation. I hope you have a really great series of sessions here, and I look forward to hearing the results of the breakout sessions that you'll have over the next period. Thank you very much indeed.